My name is Bina Brown and I'm the Director of Third Age Matters. I call myself an aged care solutions company. I specialise in probably aged care placement into residential aged care, but also helping people work out home care packages. Look, I think the first thing I'd probably say is it's not as scary as it looks. I think it's a complicated system. The government has made it about as complicated as it could. But once you have a look at how it works, it mostly makes sense. So aged care to me covers a couple of areas. It can mean residential aged care, which everyone thinks about as nursing homes, but it can also mean living in retirement villages. It can mean home care, and it can mean just getting help in your own home. So aged care to me is really about finding help or getting care in your older age. Most people don't have anything to do with the aged care system until they absolutely need it. And by then it can be really kind of a crisis management situation. So it's a really good idea to start thinking about it earlier. Increasingly I'm getting the younger generation, the kids of older people, ring me to talk about care needs for their parents. They visited them at home. They've seen that they're not probably coping as well as they could. One of the parents might die, leaving the other to sort of look after themselves. And that's increasingly a group of people who are taking control, I suppose. But there are a lot of older people themselves who are recognising that they're getting frailer, things are getting harder, and so they might contact me and talk about what their options are. Most people don't want to go into residential aged care, don't want to go into a nursing home. That's not where they see themselves. They want to stay comfortable in their own home. And so they've really got to start looking at how they're going to make that happen. Are there changes they have to make to their home? Do they actually have to move, physically move? What's involved? The biggest mistakes people can make is not understanding the system. So, knowledge is power. So when the government introduced some fairly significant changes, the most significant changes to aged care reform in 2014, they introduced what is very much a user-pays system. Those that can afford it were asked to pay more or something towards their aged care, and those that have nothing are fully supported by the government. So that's probably the first thing to understand. So, we've got a lot of aged pensioners in this country who probably think they're not entitled to or not able to buy themselves buy their way into a fairly expensive aged care facility or to get home care at a fairly high level, but probably they can. So, the first thing people should understand is how it works. And understand a bit about it and what's out there. We're very lucky in this country. We've got some great services. We've got great service providers. I think the government's intentions are all in the right direction. It's just it's a bit clunky. The government set up a website as its main point of call for anything to do with aged care. It's called My Aged Care. It's had a couple of reincarnations. It hasn't been particularly popular. But in essence, all the information is there. The cost of aged care, the sorts of services that are available, how to tap into the aged care system. The delivery of aged care services is highly subsidised. So, the government has its own mechanisms to make sure that, those that are eligible to receive subsidies get them, but if it can, find a way to get some money out of some people, it'll do that too. Look, I think the essence of getting help through the subsidised system is to actually have a think about what you need help with. So if you've got 2 steps going up to your front door and you find them difficult, you might need a ramp. If you're having trouble getting into or out of a shower, you might look at changing that. people have trouble, you know, cooking, getting meals. It could be anything, getting around the house. They might need equipment. They might need to sit. They might no longer drive, so they might need transport. So all those services are available to you. It's just a matter of knowing where to find them. And the starting point will always be this My Aged Care website, which people do find, you know, incredibly confusing, and there's this assumption that everybody has access to the internet, of course, for an age group that may not. So, you know, this is why people probably get help, either through family or, you know, services like myself who offer that, just navigating the way through the system. The take-home message is that the help is probably there somewhere, and people shouldn't wait until the absolute last minute before they need it. Understand where it is and how to access it before you need it, because there is a huge shortage of workers and services, you know, compared to the demand.